So, since I switched to MacBooks a couple of years ago, I've noticed a lot of unexpected perks. And if you're still on the fence if you should buy a MacBook or stick with your Windows laptop or whatever you may have, then hopefully this video will help you make that decision. So let's get right into it. And first, it may be an obvious one for those of you who already have MacBooks and maybe are already in the Apple ecosystem, but it is actually just ecosystem integration, especially if you've had the likes of another Apple device. Getting a laptop that can just fit in there perfectly is something Apple do better than anybody else, including Microsoft, including all Windows laptops out there. I haven't seen anybody do anything better than Apple in this space. Especially with the likes of AirDrop, I can literally take my phone, take a video, and just AirDrop it to my laptop and work on it, edit it straight away. And the same with videos, and let's say I'm finished editing one of these YouTube videos or a short, for example, I can just AirDrop it from my MacBook straight to my phone and upload it straight away, and it loses no quality at all. I know with Windows laptops and stuff like that, it's always a pain trying to get your work from the laptop directly to your phone and keep all of the quality elements and stuff like that. So it's one thing you don't have to worry about, especially with Apple. With that as well, it comes with an extremely polished OS. So you've Mac OS. It's probably the best OS I've ever used. Now, I can understand if you like Windows because you work a lot in kind of development environments. Don't get me wrong, Windows is still great for all that sort of stuff. However, having a MacBook and having that polished OS, it really is something you don't think about. You know, the actual physical device itself, and by the way, the reason I keep looking down is because I have one sitting right here. The actual physical device itself and the kind of hardware quality is something we'll get on in a minute, but that's one thing. What you don't realize is you're buying a whole software package that has, probably thousands of people working on it, and it's just super, super refined. And having iCloud, especially with all your notes and your calendars all synced up, it's fantastic as well. It's definitely a big unexpected perk. The next up, and maybe an unexpected perk for someone who doesn't really know what they're buying, is the trackpad. So with a lot of Windows laptops, you'll be familiar, it's usually a tiny little rectangle or a tiny little square. And it's still very much, it hasn't changed in 20, 30 years, where the left side of the trackpad is your left click and the right side is your right click, similar to how a mouse works at the moment. Apple take a completely different view on that, where their trackpad, it's clickable at any point. You can left or right click using one finger or two fingers. It's all gesture based, whereas obviously your typical Windows laptop is very, it's very set out and standardized across all Windows laptops. And it's actually one of Apple's biggest draws for me in particular, I have to say, because if you're zooming into something, it's as simple as just kind of, as you would on your phone, literally spreading your fingers. Or if you're looking to swipe different pages, you can literally just use 3 fingers and swipe, and it just works perfectly, I have to say. It also gives you so much more room. It's, you'll notice on MacBooks in particular, the trackpad is just gigantic. It takes up like nearly half of the whole laptop. And it's a fantastic tool for when you're trying to do those design works, or especially if you're into graphic design and you're looking to zoom in, copy colors. It saves you having all these other peripherals that you may need with other laptops. And to be quite honest, with MacBooks, it just lets you use the MacBook. I find when I'm using my Windows laptop, let's say for work, for example, I nearly just want to get it docked straight away because, the experience is subpar compared to what I have here. And this completely gets you away from that. It makes you want to do work on it because you have the fantastic trackpad, you have all your keys, you backlight keys, you have a great screen, great speakers. It's just the all-in-one fantastic laptop. It doesn't matter if you go with the Air or the Pro, they're just both fantastic laptops. And leading on from that, the next one would be usability. Like, this laptop is just as simple as close it, throw it in the bag and take it wherever you want, reopen it and just continue where you left off. There's no, sudden updates that just, shut down and install update. It's not really like that. With MacBooks, you can literally just close the lid and it kind of caches everything where it was, and you reopen the lid and it's all there ready to go, and it hasn't dropped basically any battery since you did that. So that in itself is such a massive win, especially for those of you who like to sit in a coffee shop all day drinking coffee and doing whatever you do on it. It is, I know that's kind of a stereotype with Apple users, but it is the perfect laptop for that kind of thing. And as I said, it has great battery life, so you can literally throw it in the bag, not have your charger with you, and never really worry. The next up, and we kind of touched on it at the very start, is just the overall build quality. You won't really know this until you get a MacBook in your hands, but just the weight of it, the solid feel of the all aluminium build. So they have a solid feel. You know, there's no like warp or wobble, and there's no like plastic feeling at all when it comes to any of their laptops, including the MacBook Air. And in my opinion, they seem to last a lot longer than the likes of the Windows laptop. Typically, I've had my MacBooks 4 or 5 years, and you know, I know people who've had them even longer. And with Windows, I've nearly had them maybe 1 to 2 years, maybe 2 years, at 2 to 3 years at most, and that's when they start to kind of break down. And to be fair, it's mainly due to the OS, you know, like Windows 11 or the next latest one, whatever it may be. That just doesn't seem to happen with the MacBooks. You know, I have a MacBook Pro from 2018 and it's still, well, the battery's gone, but it's still relatively fine in terms of the OS. It hasn't seemed to kill it, at least not just yet. That's what I would say is a massive unexpected perk for the MacBook. And finally, this is probably one that, you know, a lot of people are most concerned with, especially when you're dropping such serious money on a laptop. And it's that it actually feels like it's worth the money you've paid. You know, the overall package where from literally starting to unbox the product to actually using it on a daily basis, you feel, and I definitely know I've spent my money correctly. And that said, if you have, as I said at the start, an iPhone, an iPad and other Apple devices, it just makes the experience even better than it already is. So personally, I'd highly recommend a MacBook if you're sitting on the fence. I'm on my second MacBook now. And if you'd like to watch other videos like this one, here's some videos that YouTube thinks you may like. So check those out. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.